now. There's been a whole lot of Mo Salah after their loss on Friday to Aston Villa, scandalously. They lost scandalously to Aston Villa 4-2, and they are not even sure if they'll probably be in the Champions League this season because you don't know what the teams under them could do. Mo Salah came out and gave a scathing remark on Twitter. A whole lot of people have criticized him that as a professional you don't come out and criticize your team. I want us to extray on what Mo Salah said, and for me, I think he was probably throwing shot at Arne Slot. I want to quote exactly what Mo Salah said. I have witnessed this club go from doubters to believers and from believers to champions. It took hard work, and I always did everything I could to help the club get there. Nothing makes me prouder than that. Us crumbling to yet another defeat this season was very painful and not what our fans deserve. I want to see Liverpool go back to being the heavy metal attacking team that opponents fear and back to being a team that wins trophies. That is the football I know how to play, and that is the identity that needs to be recovered and kept for good. It cannot be negotiable, and everyone that joins this club should adapt to it. The key word here, everyone that joins the club. Winning some games here and there is not what Liverpool should be about. All team wins game. Liverpool will always be a club that means a great deal to me and to my family. I want to see it succeed for as long after I move on. I will start with you, Collins. What do you make of this particular statement? I mean, the key word, one of the key things he said is people joining the club. Another thing is the heavy metal football that's associated to Jurgen Klopp. Is it throwing a direct shot at Arne Slot? Is it trying to tell the board that Arne Slot is not the person to take them forward? Collins.
Um, if that was implying the fact that Anslot is not the man to take them forward, I think it's going to that's a dead message on arrival because Liverpool are not Chelsea. Liverpool are not the kind of club that you hire a manager today and because you do not do well, you will not sack you after one season. You will not do that. Anslot is there to stay. And if you look at his last presser, he hinted it. He hinted it very clear that next season he will be here. You understand? He stated it that next season, you people will see my face again. So if that's the message Mohamed Salah is trying to pass, no, it's not going to work. But coming from what he said, honestly, I understand where he's coming from. I understand where he's coming from, but I don't know if I'm going to be wicked by saying this, but I feel like he's overreacting. They just won the league last season. They just won the league last season now because of let's bear it in mind that Arsenal came from PSB, right? He came from PSB after winning the league at PSB, came to Liverpool, won the league in his first season at Liverpool. You understand? And now, did he expect Liverpool to go back to back? You understand? Maybe you can say Liverpool are not playing the best of football. They are not. But it's expected, right? It's expected. They didn't start. They started the season well. You understand? Middle of the season, they crumbled like every other normal team would do. You understand? No team is invisible. You understand? But where I fought and slot was that he couldn't pick them back up. He couldn't pick them back up because at some point I was like, maybe he's going to gather the pieces and they'll be back up, they'll be winning games again. But no, we didn't see that. You understand? And that's worrying. You understand? That's worrisome because he now started having issues with the players and everything, Salah included. You understand? So these are factors we consider. But I feel like the message Musala is trying to pass. You understand? It's coming from a place of emotions. You understand? He has been at this club for long. You understand? More like a legend for them. He's their third highest goal scorer. You understand? Winning two Premier League trophies and Champions League, a couple of golden boots. You can see that is one of their legends. You understand? And it's understandable for a player like his caliber to come out and say something like this. You understand? But at the same time, I also see that I also feel like he's overreacting. You understand? He's overreacting, and it can be a dig at Anslot. But if you want them to fire him, that's not going to work. It's not going to happen. You understand? Every player has the right to express the way they feel. You understand? And the funny thing that Musala don't even have anything to gain from this because he's going to play his last game this weekend. You understand? He's going to play his last game. So you can see that he doesn't have anything to gain from this. He just wants the club to do something about this. Maybe fire and slot or just make one or two changes. You understand? And that I don't even see that happening because Anslot is here to stay next season, and he has also hinted that Liverpool. He hinted something. He threw a shade at Salah. You understand? I don't think anybody picked that up. He said Liverpool will be different next season. That he don't want
Yeah,
to
that's true.
mention. He don't want to mention some of the reasons why. He said not, and we all know because Salah is leaving, and maybe it caused some problems in the locker room and everything. You understand? But let's see how next season is going to go. You understand? As far as I'm concerned, the fact that Anslot won the league last season, you understand? I don't think I don't I that's the reason I don't have any problem with whatever he's doing this season. You understand? Because I'm not expecting to win the league back to back. When there is an hungry Arsenal side, there is Manchester City, there is Manchester United. These things are not going to sit down and watch you win the league back to back. After you just came from PSG you just came from PSG, came to our league, come and win it. Now to come and do and that. No, now. That maybe lack of trophies is the case. But I mean, it's not only the EPL that is there. There's the Champions League, there's the FA Cup, there's the Carling Cup. You understand? There are other trophies to win. You understand? But I feel like it's sacking and slots right now. It's going to be bad. It's not going to make sense. And that's not Liverpool's identity. Like I said, Liverpool are not Chelsea. And it's not can go from 3 extra seasons without a trophy and you still be there. That's Liverpool for you. So if Liverpool fans are expecting us not to leave, maybe the manager to sack him, that's not going to work. That's not going to happen. And I feel sorry for Musala because the season didn't end well at Liverpool. You understand? Some supporters are not they're not on his side. You understand? Imagine Liverpool, imagine Musala, imagine Liverpool fans, some portion of Liverpool fans not liking Musala. That's terrible. You understand? Considering how he started the season at the club, considering how he was worshipped, how he was praised and everything, and it's not going to end well for him. Um, and to me, it's one of their legends, one of their most impactful players, one of their most brilliant players. You understand? And I see a point in what you said. At the same time, I feel like the message is kind of overreacting. Thank you.
Okay, okay, and that's fantastic. Solomon, what do you make of this comment from Salah? I mean, as professional players, you would expect that cooler heads will prevail. You will not come out and make this kind of statement when your club is going through a whole lot. Yes, you might have your disagreement with the coach. However, I mean, do you think he has earned the right to criticize the coach because the coach has played a football that it seems the team do not understand?
Okay, let me start from the point where you have to understand that at some point, some players get to that level where they become more or less the face of the club, and it is important that what they say and how they say it, it matters a lot. What they say and how they say it matters a lot, right? I don't think during the early 2000s, I'm just giving us a bit of history now. During the early 2000s, there were players that made us support clubs. In fact, we will not know about the club, but because that player is playing for that club, that is all that we need to know. There's a Thierry Henry that was called Igwe, and because of that, many people supported Arsenal. Go and ask girls when they talk about Chelsea. It's only Drogba that they will mention. He is Drogba. The moment you ask them about Chelsea, he is Drogba. Do you understand? There are some players that have that ability based on the achievements that they have had to be able to bring people to a club. And no matter what happens, supporters will always support them. I genuinely believe that this is one of the issues that Slot had with Musala at Liverpool, right? The fact that the level that Musala had gotten to, and the Slot could not properly manage that situation. Now, I saw a recording of Borussia Dortmund and Real Madrid's backroom when they played the final, I think in 2024, right? During the halftime break, Carlo Ancelotti did not say anything to the players. All he did was to just ask Carvajal and Toni Cruz, okay, what do you think was happening on the pitch? What worked? It was Carvajal and Toni Cruz that was giving the guys the information that they needed to change on the pitch because they are the leaders of the team. They were the ones on the pitch and they knew what they needed to do to win the match. And that's exactly what they implemented and they won. Now, in the case of Mo Salah, I do not completely think that is also not at fault. Football is momentary. Football is momentary. That means that a player can be the hot pick this season and the following season is nothing. Mo Salah was everything and more for Liverpool last season, but
True.
he was not that good player this season. So when he comes under criticism, as he should rightly come under, it's only right that people will criticize your play because they know the level where you have been to or the level that you've been at, and you were nowhere near that level at all this season. Now, it's a different ball game if you were still that Mo Salah and players or the coach is criticizing you. But you are not that person anymore. At least not this season. At least not this season. You have not been that Mo Salah. And when Jamie Carragher comes out to talk about it, we like to think that Jamie Carragher is overdoing things. But guess what? Jamie Carragher was right when he said that Mo Salah would never talk about the situation at Liverpool unless it concerns him. The only time you see Salah come out to talk is when he wants to upgrade his salary or his earnings. That was the one time before Mo Salah come out to talk throughout the season, saying that people were trying to, kick him under the bus and whatnot. And now he's leaving. Is there an iota of truth in what he said? Of course there is. Under Jurgen Klopp, they were the fiery attack. Musala, Sadio Mane, Roberto Firmino, up front, scoring goals. But they are not that team anymore. This can obviously be, traced back to maybe an Slot's inability to manage the team properly. Two, injuries. Another thing is the players that even made that last season possible are no longer there. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Luis Diaz, Diogo Jota. These players are no longer available, and they were central to whatever it is that made Liverpool win the league last season. These players were central to that, and they are no longer available. If we talk about the Salah dropping form and whatnot, what about the Podigaku that a real Ngumuna is now displacing? Right? So both of them, and it's not Musala, they obviously do not see eye to eye. They obviously do not have a good relationship, and I believe that has impacted the team greatly. That impacted the team greatly. If you come in as a Liverpool player, you look up to Musala. You look up to Musala. You know the things that he has done at the club. You know how much of a legend he is to the team. So if he says something, you want to listen. But there's also the coach that you want to listen to as well, right? So both of them had that friction that they just were not able to, manage properly, and it has spilled over and has affected all of their season. Musala is leaving next season, whether I like it or not, it's gone, right? It is now left to a slot to ensure that he puts his home in order. And as Collins rightly said, he said next season is going to change, and we can only hope and look forward to the change that they want to implement next season. Is Mo Salah right? As I said, there's an iota of truth in what he has said. They were the informed team under Jurgen Klopp. They were everything and more, and literally they've gone backwards, especially coming off a winning season that they had last season, right? They are nowhere near the Liverpool that they ought to be. And it's only right that they begin to put things in place to try as much as possible to get back to that Liverpool that they used to be.